Today, we are going to cut through all the noise about learning to code. We're going to show you how to stop wasting your time and your money on tech courses that just don't deliver. We're going to use hard data to build a new framework, one that helps you learn faster and build an actual career, not just collect a bunch of useless certificates. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with a really honest question here. Think about the last online course you signed up for. You were probably excited, right? You watched all the videos, you maybe did a few quizzes, but a month later, could you really build something from scratch? If you feel like you're just spinning your wheels, stuck in that gap between watching someone do something and actually doing it yourself, trust me, you are not alone.
And here's where the problem really starts. This number, it's pretty shocking. Research shows that just 3 days after reading something, we only remember about 10% of it. 10%. Think about all that effort, all those hours. Just gone. Vanished.
Okay, so you might be thinking, well, what about video lectures? That's what most courses are. And yeah, it gets a little better, but not by much. A 20% retention rate, that's a failing grade in any school on the planet. And it's a massive problem when you're trying to build skills that your career depends on.
So let's just call it what it is. The way millions of us are trying to learn, by passively binge-watching hours of video, it's fundamentally broken. It's a system that's designed to make you feel like you're learning, but it's not actually built for real, long-term skill acquisition. It's a learning trap.
And look, this isn't just about you feeling frustrated. This broken learning system, it has huge, real-world consequences. It's costing companies a fortune, and it's derailing careers before they even get started. Let's really look at the damage it's causing.
This slide, to me, is just mind-blowing. We have more online courses, more tutorials, more learning content than ever before in human history. And yet, look at this. Nearly half of all IT projects get abandoned because teams don't have the right technical skills. And for business pros, it's even worse. It's a total disconnect.
And that right there proves the point. The problem isn't that we don't have enough information, we're drowning in it. The problem is the method. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. Pouring more and more water in doesn't fix the hole. We don't need more courses, we need a better bucket.
Okay, so enough about the problem. We've all felt it. Let's pivot and talk about the solution. Because the science of how we learn is incredibly clear, and it points us in a completely different and way more effective direction.
And boom, here it is. Look at that jump. The moment you stop passively watching and you start actively doing, your retention just skyrockets to 90%. That's not a small tweak, that's a complete game changer. It's the difference between knowing about coding and actually being a coder. And this isn't just some short-term memory trick either. The long-term data is just as clear. A month later, the active learners, they still held on to over 93% of what they learned. The passive learners lost over a fifth of it. Active learning builds skills that actually stick with you.
So this whole principle of active learning is the engine behind something called project-based learning. And the proof? It's just overwhelming. Study after study shows that students who learn by actually building real things don't just do a little better, they outperform their peers by a solid 10 percentage points. It even works for the smartest kids in the room, with AP students scoring way higher on their exams.
And you know who has absolutely mastered this hands-on philosophy? Bootcamps. And that's exactly why they're so effective. Just look at how they stack up against a traditional 4-year degree. You're paying a tiny fraction of the cost, you're ready for a job in months instead of years, and you're looking at an average salary bump of over 50%. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it's a much more direct path to that high-paying tech job.
Okay, so you've learned the skill the right way. That's awesome. But now comes the most critical part. How do you prove it to an employer? Because learning the skill is only half the battle. Getting someone to pay you for it, that's the other half.
All right, I want you to burn this chart into your brain. Seriously, this changes everything about how you should approach job hunting. When you ask the people who actually do the hiring what they care about most, a portfolio of your work is number one. And look all the way over on the right. Credentials, certificates, a tiny 4%. That means what you can build is nearly 10 times more important to them than a course completion certificate. The takeaway here is so important. The game has changed. Hiring managers do not want to see a list of videos you've watched. They want to see what you can build. Your portfolio isn't just a nice thing to have. In the modern tech world, it is your resume. Okay, so we've looked at the science, we've looked at what hiring managers actually want. Now let's get practical. Let's turn all this data into a concrete, step-by-step action plan.
Here's your 16-week roadmap to getting job ready in 2026.
So we're breaking this down into 4 simple phases. You start with the fundamentals, but you're doing it through interactive labs, not by watching videos. Then you immediately pivot to the most important part, building 3 to 5 real projects for that portfolio. Next, you lock in everything you've learned by collaborating with other people and even teaching them what you know. That's how you get to that 90% retention rate we saw. And finally, you prove your skills in the real world, either by contributing to open source or doing some freelance work.
And if you want to put this whole plan on steroids, you integrate these 3 powerful techniques. Use AI tutors to get personalized feedback whenever you're stuck 24/7. Break up your learning into short, focused 15 to 30-minute sessions so you don't burn out. And use something called spaced repetition to review key concepts. It's like a secret weapon that can boost your long-term memory by up to 80%.
Now, why does this all matter so much right now? Because this isn't just about a better way to learn, it's about your ticket to a massive opportunity. By 2025, it's projected there will be 3.5 million unfilled jobs in cybersecurity alone. The demand for people with real, proven skills is absolutely enormous.
The world of work is just changing at a dizzying pace. The Future of Jobs report says that nearly a quarter of all jobs on the planet will be different by 2028. In an environment like that, a slow, passive way of learning isn't just inefficient, it's a huge career risk. You have to be able to learn at the speed the market is moving.
So after we've looked at all this evidence, from cognitive science to hiring data from the biggest tech companies, what's the one single most important thing you need to take away from all this?
It's this. Plain and simple. Your value is not in the list of courses you've collected. Your value, your proof, is in the things you can create, the problems you can solve, and the code you can actually write. The new currency in the tech world is tangible, demonstrated ability. Stop collecting, start building.
I want you to let this quote really sink in because it perfectly captures the new reality. Your portfolio, that's your resume. It shows what you can do. Your GitHub profile, that's your transcript. It shows how you think and collaborate. And your projects? Well, your projects are the undeniable proof.
So we end right back where we started, but now with a totally new perspective. The evidence is clear, the path is laid out for you, and the opportunity is absolutely massive. You can stick with the traditional way, it's comfortable, but we've seen it's a trap. Or you can embrace the project-based way. It's more effort up front, but it actually delivers results. The data has spoken. Now the choice is yours.